Hello everyone. This video or this channel is mostly about the raw food diet, raw food lifestyle, healthy living stuff, and other things that I want to share. And if you're interested in the raw food lifestyle, I'll put a link below. You can check out my book, and there might be some links below for some other things as well, if I can remember where those links are. Anyway, um, this topic of this video, I just really feel like I want to talk about relationships, and I certainly am the relationship expert, but in the raw vegan raw food movement, there's often it's often like a lot of people have an alternative diet lifestyle, and therefore they start to explore alternatives in all areas. So we do see quite a lot in the raw food movement or the raw vegan movement, people exploring open relationships and polyamory and different things like that, and and maybe people basically exploring any kind of thing outside of monogamy or marriage. So, like traditional marriage. So, I think there's a bit of a problem with that. Is what I want to talk is what I want to sort of talk about. And you know, I don't even know how much marriage and people being single is the majority anymore. Sorry, people being in monogamous relationships is the majority. I don't really know. There's a lot of people, very few people of my generation seem to get married to one person and stick with that marriage throughout their life. I don't know what the statistics are on that, but I imagine it's way less. And even the generation before mine, there was a lot of divorce. Um, and there's obviously a number of reasons for that. But I think the issue I want to talk about, I'd like to get your feedback and know what you guys think. And it kind of relates to every aspect of having a good life and healthy living in general. I think if you try and go along with your feelings 100% of the time and assume that they are the legitimate I'm not trying to work out what the words are, that your feelings are the thing to follow in all circumstances. Your feelings are more important than anything else, and your feelings, your emotions are that you're guiding the North Star, the guiding principle of your life that you move towards is where are my feelings at, and I'm going to go towards my feelings. And I think I've felt like that a lot about a lot of things. And you use your feelings and your emotions and your intuition and all that stuff. But more and more, I'm starting to think that it's not the key to having a great life, that it's not as simple as that. It's not as simple as going along with your feelings. And with relationships, I think that a lot of people are trying to crack the code that they're never going to crack. You know, you're never going to create this scenario where you can have this loving relationship connection that lasts forever and is exciting and amazing forever or whatever, and at the same time fulfills all the other aspects of a relationship and all the practical aspects, and also be able to like have the freedom to do what you want as if you were a single person. I just don't think that's ever gonna be gonna work out for anyone in a really great way. I think that's very difficult to achieve for the vast majority of people, and it's not even just the human consequence of the various tensions and emotions involved in people having a more open relationship style, but the practical aspects of it. And I hate to be the boring person in the room or whatever, but that's important as well. You know, in relationships, people can end up changing the way they live based on based on the other person. They might move country. They might give up a job opportunity. My brother and his wife, they're moving because my brother's got a job. But what if she had got a job somewhere else? Would they have moved there? What if it makes it more difficult for her to get a job? And if they were to break up, which I don't think they will do, but if they were, then she's given away some years of her life to allow him to. So how do you compensate each other for that? That's the difficulty with divorce and people splitting up and things like that. How do you work all that out? You got to think there's these practical realities. When you add children into the equation, major practical realities, and I'm concerned because I've seen it like two relationships of people that were friends to some degree or other that have explored this more open style, or whether you want to call it polyamory or not. I've known way more people actually that have been experimenting with that, and from what I've seen, I don't think it's any more successful at maintaining a relationship long term than the alternative. Because most of the people I know that have been polyamorous at various times are not in the relationship anymore to some degree or other, I think. And more recently I had two friends that I've not been in touch with that much, but I saw that they're not kind of together. They never, I don't know if they've ever called it that they were together or not, or however, but they're not living together. And there's a child involved and stuff like that, and that's, to me, I'm sad about that, and I'm sad, and I've seen other people where that's happened, where there's been children involved. There was another couple this year that they weren't polyamorous, but they broke up because another person got involved. The wife met this guy, and in her estimation this was her soulmate, someone she had to be with, or her twin flame or whatever, and she had to pursue that, and there was a child involved there. And in a lot of these situations, what I'm seeing is people putting their feelings, in particular their temporary sexual drives, their lust, their desire for love, whatever it is, they're putting those feelings, the importance of those feelings, ahead of other aspects of their life. Sometimes, what it seems to me as well, putting that ahead of potentially the welfare, safety, emotional security of their child. And the whole thing about marriage, it's not like at some point in the past everyone was monogamous by nature. We've never been monogamous by nature. We understand that. But the whole marriage thing, which I understand, maybe some of these people weren't married actually, thinking back, but the whole marriage thing is like, regardless of your feelings, you stay together with a person, regardless of your feelings changing. And for a lot of people of this generation, and really the post-war generation, that's like a disgusting concept, right? That you would stay in a relationship despite the fact you're not totally in love anymore, or whatever. That you would stay in a relationship despite the fact that you fall in love with someone else, or that there's someone else you find more attractive, and it leads to no security in relationships anymore. So how do people endeavour to build a life together when everyone feels fully justified if their feelings change for that person, then or they have feelings for someone else, that they're totally justified in just leaving. and ending it and not working on it anymore. So my perspective on a lot of these different styles of relationship and different approaches to relationship is that it's putting way too much importance on your feelings, in particular your sexual desires. And I'm quite a traditional person. I'm not a prude really or anything. But I just don't think. I think if you give in to your sexual drive all the time, it will take control of you more and more and more. You know, it's not one of those things that you like. It's not like food that you eat to a certain point and then that's you full. Your desire for it will grow and grow and grow. You'll want more and more and more people, different types of people, different looking people. And if you keep on giving into that, it will have more and more power over you. And I don't think that that's a healthy way of making decisions as to who you should be around, as to who you should make intimate connections with, physical connections with, and all that stuff. Now, I'm not the expert, as I say. I've made a lot of mistakes and not been particularly successful relationship-wise, but part of that comes from the fact that I really feel like I've been born into society in which, like, I just feel like, maybe a lot of you are like this, but I feel like I would have happily gotten married at like 17 or 18 or 19, 21 or whatever, to the right person, and would have had no desire, maybe not no desire, but at least my intention in my mind would have been, I don't want to meet anyone else. I'm not going to go out and put myself in a situation where I might meet someone else. I'm not going to go back to someone's hotel room. I'm not going to do that kind of stuff. And we've just lost that, you know. We've just lost that to some degree. And I think people are struggling more and more to develop the kind of long-term relationships that help people get through life and help support people through life, because I think people have way unrealistic expectations that you should feel in love forever and that you should have amazing sex forever or whatever it is, and that you should never be attracted to anyone else. Like, that's not realistic. It's not that you won't be attracted to other people, but you don't have to give into it. And if you've got this history of just giving in all the time, then that's what you're going to do, and that's going to make it very difficult in relationships. But the other thing that just came to mind about the polyamory thing and all that is the fact that people can use sex to harm each other. And I'm not saying that that's what any of my friends did, but like, I can just imagine it. You have an argument, you fall out with each other, you have a disagreement, and you know you're going to annoy them by going and sleeping with someone else. I just can't even imagine that doesn't happen. And there's some kind of perverse power game in there that I don't like either. I don't know, maybe I'm just judging what I think is happening with other people and all that kind of stuff. There's a few things about us as humans that we need to understand a bit more. Firstly, something I heard recently, the love at first sight experience. Love at first sight. Some of you might have experienced that. And I think you could connect this with any kind of instant, you meet someone and you have an instant amazing connection, so many feelings, all your feelings are going wild. I've seen things that suggest that only tends to happen to people between the age of 16 and 24. seen something now, it might not be right. Happy to get your feedback, but that makes some sense. That those kind of very huge feelings are only happening to people that are quite young. And that maybe people are assuming that that's how it should always be, and that you'll find someone else that you'll feel like that for, and it's later on in life, it's probably less likely that you'll even find someone, and less likely that you'll feel the way that you did when you were initially falling in love the first time when you were younger. So feelings change over time. You probably won't feel as intense initial emotions for people, but a lot of that is unrealistic as well. It's not real. But the other thing is that the in love feeling tends to only last 18 months to 2 years in any relationship, which is, evolutionarily speaking, the amount of time it would take for a child to get to about 18 months, 2 years of age, where they're a little bit less helpless at that point, right? And also maybe they've been breastfed for quite a long period of time, and they can now eat other food and stuff like that. So that the whole thing about that loving feeling is to connect, is to bond people together from an evolutionary and chemical perspective. And of course that's not how you experience it, but that's what the scientists would say. After that, it's never going to feel the same. And I wouldn't be surprised the amount of relationships that end at that point, or that people get divorced after, fairly short periods of time after that. But people have to be aware that you're never going to get that back. But it can be so enticing to want that feeling again that you might want to leave and find someone else. But it's a temporary thing, and you're just going to go through that cycle again and again and again, chasing the emotion of that. And but after that, what is a relationship based on? I imagine you have to have some shared life goals and shared principles and values and things that you want to achieve together. So we need to understand. I think we need to learn, if you're going to go along with your feelings, follow your feelings, you need to understand them. You need to understand your feelings, and how you can't have these huge expectations that you're always going to feel magical emotions all the time. So I don't know, I just wanted to share all that. And as I say, I'm sad that I've seen people over the years explore those relationship styles, and it's not the magic solution to relationships, or to making a relationship more long term or last longer, or whatever. But I do worry as well that basically I think that I do feel like children are more important. And then secondly, your security in life, pragmatically, your ability to get through life is much easier with someone that you like, that you're with, that you help each other. So when you give up on relationships out of your feelings changing and someone else coming along, and it's not as exciting as it used to be, or whatever, I don't know, I think we need to get beyond that and get back to what we used to see it as, that it's about life. Now at the same time, what other people would say to me is that if you're not open about being polyamorous, that in reality what happens is people are still polyamorous, but they're just not openly polyamorous. In other words, that people will just be in relationships, but they will have other sexual partners. And that, yeah, that's probably the case. That probably is a lot of the time. But I guess that's your own choice. I don't know, but but that's basically, I think that as a society, what we want to try, what you actually want to go towards for people's health and happiness and long-term happiness, is that we should probably get back to people getting married younger, so that you're not going through 15 or 10 or 15 years or 20 years of multiple failed relationships, ups and downs all over the place, and then trying to form a long-term relationship after that drama. Way more difficult than if you have the very strong feelings that come with being younger and being with maybe the first person or one of the first people that you've ever, connected with like that, and then trying to stick with each other and make a life together. I think we should go back to that and not go forward into a world of praising open relationship styles that I don't think work for a lot of people. I think work maybe for the minority of people, and as long as they're open about that with each other, then that's absolutely fine. I do still think it's a little bit difficult when you have children involved. I really think when children become involved, that they should come first over like the other thing. So anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you don't feel judged if that's your way of life. Feel free to put some comments below about what do you think is the ideal way to look at relationships. I feel like I've kind of messed up. Like I look back in my life, and I'm only 35, nearly 36, and I just think like I should have got married like younger, should have met someone or got married, and I failed. I failed to do that. I failed to meet someone. I was open to it, I just never met anyone. Like I don't even know why, looking back. I really struggled, and the one person I met when I was younger, it didn't work out, and I regret that and everything. I do regret that. And now I think that I'll be lucky to get married or have a long-term relationship or something like that. I think I'll be lucky if that happens. So, but the one thing I don't want to go towards, I don't want more relationships. I don't want more dates and stuff like that. I don't know. I want less. I only want to, want to take a bit more time with people, not try and, I don't know what I was doing a few years ago. I was going really mad, like going on a lot of dates and, not really one night stands that much, but sometimes, and never liked that. Wasn't even enjoying it while it was happening, and not really my nature. And none of it, there was no love, there was no love, there was no intimacy, and that's the only thing that to me, I don't understand anyone why you would have a relationship without that. Like, what's the point? Without the intimacy, or without the intimacy. That's what it's about. So I don't know. I think for me it would kind of kill that if you're introducing other people into the picture and they're going away and having sex with someone else. It's just like, I don't know. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope this hasn't been too much of a ramble. Hope you're all feeling well. Yes, this is a Chinese restaurant poster. I don't know why it's here. It's not mine. Thank you very much.